Hey YouTubers, Jen True here with the True Valley Life channel. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. So today's video is about the Luxe Ultralight Hexpeak 2-person backpacking teepee. I chose the forest green with the stove jack, and then I also got one of the inners with it, but today I'm just going to be putting out the outer fly, the outer shell teepee. Because that's pretty much all you need for a shelter, backpacking up in the woods. Outside of bugs, when there's black fly, I would recommend the inner just for the bug netting. And then in the colder, winter and then the later fall, early spring, they sell a XL version, winter 1.5 version. And I got that too, and I'm going to try to just fit it to the standard, because they say that it doesn't fit the standard. They have an XL as well in the Hexpeak, but I'm not, I'm under 6 feet tall, so I don't need the XL. So I'll save on weight. This is about 1.4 pounds, and you use your own hiking poles to set this up. So it's nice because you save weight. You don't have to, use separate poles for the tent, and you could even save even more weight and probably get it to a pound if you fashion stakes out in the woods. And you guys know how I feel about stakes. So my goal today is to just be proficient in setting up my tent. I basically want to master it, because I don't want to be out in the woods and learn how to set up my teepee. I want to know exactly what I need to do, find the campsite, set up my tent or my teepee, and make camp for the day or the night or whatever it is, the weekend, whatever it may be. So let's get to it. All right. I just always have my axe with me because it helps put the stakes in the ground. And then I grab a piece of this Tyvek because it's super light, and this is floorless. So unless you have one of the inners, and then that has the a floor. But if you're just using the outer rain fly, or the outer fly as they call it, whatever they call it, I forget what they call it. They call it something special at this manufacturer, but to me it's just the teepee. But it's floorless. So we have this, I got this piece of Tyvek that's about 6 feet long and about 3 feet wide. I'm probably gonna cut it in like a hexagon, half an octagon shape, because I want to have it contour the shape of the teepee. So, all right, well, let's get to it. All right, so let me just go ahead and open this up. I think the chicken's gonna once again photobomb. All right, comes with this little Velcro strap. You could probably save some weight and not use this, but if you wanted to add a little more ventilation to your teepee, you could loosen up the stakeout points and use 2 poles and use 2 of these to strap the, guys, get out of here, to strap together the poles to make 1 pole. If you wanted to have a little more ventilation, if it was like summertime or something like that. But I don't need it. It's just another way to shed a little bit of weight. So because you only need 1 pole, so you have a backup. If one breaks, you always get another one, and you could always fashion. Hi, girls. Yeah, hi. You could always fashion a pole from a stick out in the woods as well. So let's get to it. Here on the homestead, you never know when the chickens are gonna pop around. All right. So basically you want to locate the door, right? And you want to have your door area where you want it, basically. So if you want to access, I have a fire going. I have a fire going right over here. So I'm going to position the teepee so that if I wanted to look at the fire, I could. And there's some nice sun. we have a pretty good hexagon shape going now, right? I would say so. Okay, so that's perfect. That's what you're looking for. It's that nice hexagon shape. So once you have that, you want to grab your stakes. You're going to go to your stakeout points now. There's 6 stakeout points, but there's an additional 4. Okay, so there's extra cordage on the ends of the 6. So they say, you know, to go ahead and add, you know, extra cordage, but I recommend, because this is so long, you'll never use that much. I was gonna kind of like meet it halfway and then use this for the other, you know, for the remaining dial points, just to save weight, because you know, you keep adding cordage, it does add up for sure. So I was gonna, for instance, if you make this, you basically double it. You see? That's how long, that's like, it's super long. Like you would, there's no way you would use that much. That was like, if you staked it out here, there's no way. So I was thinking, like, if I pull this all the way and come up to here, and then cut here, tie it, and use a lighter to it to, you know, seal it off, and then use that here, because they have like the little points, but just no cordage on it. So I was going to do that at some point. So that's just a little tip to save additional weight. You can just, you know, trim that off and you'll be good to go. Alright, so anyway, let's get this back where it was about. Okay, so we got 6 stakes. That's all you really need to carry. And if you needed more in the field, you could fashion those in the field. So we're going to just go ahead. You need 1, because once, you know, you're not going to be carrying directions and stuff, and you really want to get proficient at this. So the things to remember is you need a stake at each corner of the door, and then I'll show you. Give me 1 second. So you go from the corner of the door. Get out of here. So if the door is there, you're going to make sure that these 2 points are nice and taut. Okay? And then you're going to go over here, and you're going to make sure that these 2 are nice and taut. And then you can go ahead and tighten up the other 2. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to start here. Oh, you went on a root. Ugh. Tighten that up a little bit, because that's a little loose. Okay, so you get that one. So then you go over here, and you just want to, you see how I get that nice ridge, nice point, and then you always want to make sure you got your even ridge here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stake it out here. Because remember, we can tighten this up, we can adjust it if we need to, we can make some slight adjustments, okay? Okay, so that's good. I'll go over this over here. Alright. You're going to make sure you got a good ridge line. Okay. Good. And then jump over here. Make sure you got your good ridge line. You're good over here. Okay. not least, do these last two. This one got a little twisted. Remember, when you drive your stakes in at a slight angle, so like this one, I just drove it this way. So I always want to go toward the tent because that way it keeps it all taut and driven in. You wouldn't want to go like put a stake this way toward a tent because then it'll just slip off. So you always put it away because you got that little, you know, notch, and then that way when you have it like this, the rope will stay and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so make sure you get your good line there. All right, now grab the pole, and the manufacturer recommends that you put your hiking pole to 137 to 140 centimeters, and most poles just standardly come to that extension. So if you look at your hiking pole, I hope you can see this, you go to the 135, 140. I put the bottom one at 140 so that I know I'm maxed out, and then I'll put this one at 135, and then I know I got a little bit if I need to extend it. Now I take the tip, and when I go in, you kind of use a motion like this, and then, but you don't want to go too high because you don't want to expand the teepee too much because that's how you get leaks. So you don't want to make it so taut that it's so tight. You want it tight, but you want it to be able to kind of go a little bit, you know, if there's any intense wind or rain, because the more you open up that fabric, it lessens the waterproofness and it can actually create seepage. So just something to know. So we're going to go ahead and get the teepee up here. So basically you open it up, and then this tip part. One thing I love about this is it also comes with this loop. So if you weren't able to, for some reason, use your poles, you could fashion a loop and you could tie it from a tree and hold it that way, or you could fashion a bipod or a tripod, you know, to keep it up. So just kind of, you know, keeps it open. It's a flexible shelter, which is really nice. There you go. That easy, guys. So there it is. It's a shelter. I'm going to go ahead and, now that I get that nice position the way I want it, I'm going to go ahead and put that back up to 135. And I'm going to press this into the ground. There we go. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and close the door. And then we're going to go around and make a couple final adjustments. Just tighten this, snug it up a little. And again, keeping in mind you don't want it so taut that it creates any kind of seepage. And affects the waterproofness in any way. The other thing I like is it's got this pouch here, so you can some nice ventilation. So there's a stove jack. I still need to cut the hole. But again, if you wanted to shed some weight in the off season, when you're not using the stove jack, you could actually peel the jack off and then just put this back on. And I'm actually going to make a bug net with Velcro around it to put over it, so it's like a skylight if I want to do that. It's just an idea I had. So now I got this up. I'm gonna go ahead. I need to waterproof or seam seal the top here. Manufacturer recommends that this point here and across, just pretty much from like here up, that you use like a silicone type seam sealer. I don't know, it only costs $10. It's just a seam sealer. Use a little brush to apply it on the seams of the top. So now I'm going to go ahead and go around, and I'm going to shorten up these right here, as I said before. You know, like I said, I think that is you know, more than enough cordage. So this is here. So I think I'll cut it like, I don't know, probably here. And you do this just so that it doesn't fray. Whew, the wind. Wait a minute. You don't want to get that on your hands because it'll burn you. It hurts. And then it'll be there for a long time. Alright. I just want to make like a little stop loop. So I can't go through there. But see, that's more than enough. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and add it. I just was looking to see how they did it. So they go up through there. Down. And then that's the extra. And then this is the loop. So we'll undo this stop knot. And we'll make the stop knot here. Okay. Loosen that back up. And then we'll just do basic. Okay. I want to make sure we get enough room. Now these can be a little shorter because you're not going to use these in any other situation other than like inclement weather, like a major snowstorm or rain amount. You know, you wouldn't need to tie, you know, stake out all these points in a regular, you know, good day. So these can be a little bit shorter because again, you're not, you know, you're not going to be, these are for the, you know, when you're going to stake this out and you're going to taut that thing so that it can handle you know, that wind and rain, and it's just, if you've ever been in a rainstorm or a windstorm in the mountain, you know. So yeah, I'm loving this teepee. You even have additional guy-out points here. You know, if you wanted to kind of, you know, increase your footprint inside the teepee, you could really get, I'll show you. I think it came with some extra cordages. Came with some. So it came with these extra hooks in this cordage, and then I have some of this. So just to show you, kind of like, I probably would lose the hooks, I don't know, but I wouldn't use the hook, but like you can really increase kind of, you know, by an inch, but then you are stressing the seam, so it kind of, you know, it's just that whole waterproofness thing. So, but again, you don't want to be touching the inside of your tent either, or your teepee, because, you know, there's this condensation. So that's why, you know, ventilation and airflow is everything, because condensation kind of happens if you, especially if you don't have good ventilation, and it's not really comfortable to have damp tent or damp teepee or sleeping bag or clothes. So it's like if you got sweaty clothes, I put them in a bag, like, you know, like a ditty bag, or they're very light. It's an ultralight, like just a stuff sack like this, kind of, but smaller, just like a 10 liter or 12 liter. And I'll put my clothes in that, my hiking clothes, the sweaty nasty ones, and then I'll cinch it up, and I actually use it as a pillow, and then it stays warm, and at least they kind of dry a little bit, but not really. But anyone that does any kind of backpacking, you know, that you typically put on wet clothes again the next day. So it's just part of it. It's part of the fun. Anyway, so I'm not really gonna put guy-out points like strings on this, because I always carry a little bit of extra cordage with me when I backpack, so if I had to, I could. And again, that would help, like mainly in snow situations, or like heavy wind or rain. But your day, you know, regular camping outing, you should be fine, especially if you carry a little bit of cordage, and if you needed to like guy out 2 points, it just kind of helps with the wind and the rain and things like that. But yeah, so that all in, I mean, let's check it out. Take you guys in, take you for a tour. I'm loving this. That's the yeah, 5-second tour there. And then it's got the nice Velcro here. And again, helps keep the door. And then as you can see here, I was showing you the little ventilation. And it's got the little Velcro shut if you didn't want it. But, you know, this ventilation is everything. I love to use my tarp as a shelter, but the ventilation is a little bit of a challenge sometimes. So this is just going to be a much better situation here. It's got this little hook. You can hook on the loop here. Oh. There we go. See? It's nice. Let me get in here. And so then you got that little screen. One thing to know about, when you have a floorless shelter, that there is, space. So it's just something to know. That's all. A lot of people don't realize that until they get out there. So yeah. Love the Hexpeak 2-person ultralight backpacking teepee. I hope you enjoyed my video today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if you have any comments, please go ahead and drop them in the comment section. I always like to hear from you guys. And just appreciate you hanging out. So get outside, practice, use your gear, be proficient at it. That's why I'm out here today. I'm out here today. I actually I made fire, so I was like practicing that skill. Boiled some water, made some coffee. And then put this teepee up a few times. Now I'm going to seam seal it now that the sun's over here, as you can see. And yeah, so thanks so much again for hanging out with me. Get outside, practice your skills, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and do so. And also hit that notification bell so that you get all my new stuff. Well, have a great day. Take care. Bye now.